Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Instant tragic update for fans. Dara Ennis' shocking update drops just a few minutes ago. Broken our hearts, this news must see. The studio buzzed with anticipation as the familiar pulsating music of The Chase signaled the arrival of the final chase. Lights dimmed. Tension crackled in the air like static, and host Bradley Walsh, ever the charismatic ringleader, flashed his signature grin as he addressed the camera. Welcome back. Now, it's the final chase, and what a game it's been so far. We've had drama, laughs, and, he leaned toward the camera conspiratorially, some absolutely diabolical luck. The camera panned to the sole contestant remaining at the desk, Emily Granger, a 29-year-old charity worker from Manchester. She sat upright, fists clenched in her lap, every muscle in her body tense. She had ended the show full of life, giddy with excitement and hope. Her teammates, Roger, Pam, and Naveed, had all fallen victim to brutal chases, facing the ever-calculating intellect of Dara Ennis, also known as the Menace. One by one, they were picked off in close, agonizing defeats. Now it was just Emily, the last woman standing, and she'd brought back a staggering £80,000 in a high-offer gamble that shocked even Bradley. "You said you wanted to do something life-changing with this money," Bradley had said earlier, his voice more serious than usual. Emily had nodded. "My sister has late-stage cystic fibrosis. She needs specialized treatment in Switzerland that we can't afford. This is everything." Now, she faced an early impossible final chase. Alone, with no teammates to back her. Just 2 minutes, 80 grand on the line, and Dara, cold, focused, and terrifyingly brilliant. Bradley read out the quickfire questions, and Emily fought with all her might. Her hands trembled, her lips moved before she spoke, forming answers as her mind raced. Despite the pressure, she scored 18 steps, a respectable effort for a solo player. "Okay," Bradley said, clapping her on the back gently. "You've done well. Seriously, 18? Alone? That's more than some teams manage with 3 players. Emily smiled weakly, biting back nerves. Then Dara Ennis stepped forward. His black suit was immaculate, and his expression was unreadable. But behind those steely eyes was a calculating mind already processing the math. He knew what he needed to do. Answer 18 questions correctly in 2 minutes, and the £80,000 would vanish into the ether. The clock started. Dara was flawless, one after another. He answered with mechanical precision. Even Bradley appeared unnerved. "Stop the clock," Emily interrupted with a correct pushback. The audience erupted. She gained a crucial step back. Another pushback followed. Tension built like a coiled spring. But with 4 seconds to go, Dara answered the 18th question. Correctly. A buzzer. Silence. Then, "I'm sorry, Emily. You've been caught. The chase is over." The crowd gave a respectful round of applause, but Emily could barely move. She stared ahead, eyes glassy. It wasn't just the money, it was her sister's life. She had gambled everything, and now it was gone. The lights dimmed. Emily stood to leave, shaky and silent. Bradley placed a hand on her shoulder. "You were brilliant, seriously." "Doesn't matter," Emily murmured, voice cracking. She needed this. Behind them, Dara Ennis stood frozen. He had watched many contestants lose, most with grace and acceptance, but something in Emily's reaction, her palpable pain, her trembling hands, hit differently. The producers signaled for a commercial break, and Bradley turned to chat with crew. Emily was escorted backstage. But Dara didn't move. His gaze lingered on the chair she had just vacated. He turned slowly to one of the floor producers. "Can I speak to the executive producer?" he asked quietly. The request was unusual, almost unheard of, but the producer gave a quick nod and disappeared. Minutes passed. Bradley looked over, puzzled. "You good, Dara?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I just need to do something." By the time the cameras were back up and running, there was a stir across the studio. The executive producer had gathered the team backstage, including Emily, who sat in stunned silence. Dara walked onto the studio floor and addressed the crew. I know we've just wrapped the game, but I'd like to speak directly to the contestant. On camera. There was a collective inhale. Bradley raised his eyebrow. You sure, mate? I'm sure. Cameras rolled again. The audience was hushed. Emily was invited back to her seat, looking confused and emotionally drained. Then, Dara, standing center stage, addressed her directly. Emily, I've been on the chase for years now. I've seen people win big, and I've seen people lose painfully. But your performance today? That wasn't a loss. You took the highest offer. You answered like a champion. You pushed back twice on your own. Emily blinked in disbelief. He continued. The rules say the chaser has to catch the contestant, and I did. But there's something bigger than rules here. Humanity. Bradley leaned forward slightly. Where are you going with this, Dara? Dara looked at the camera, then back at Emily. I've spoken to the executive producers. And with their blessing, I'd like to personally match the £80,000 from my own appearance earnings and winnings and donate it to your sister's treatment. Gasps exploded around the room. Emily's hands flew to her mouth. You're joking, she whispered. I'm not, Dara said simply. You deserve that money. More importantly, she deserves that chance. The audience rose in a standing ovation. Bradley wiped his eyes, visibly emotional. Well, I don't even know what to say. That's never happened in the history of the chase. Dara? I know, Dara interrupted. And I don't care. This is bigger than trivia. Emily sobbed openly. I don't know how to thank you. You already did, Dara replied, with a rare, soft smile. By fighting like hell out there. The broadcast ended on that moment, and within hours, social media erupted. Hashtag the chase, hashtag Dara the hero, hashtag the menace with a heart. Clips of the moment went viral, trending worldwide. News outlets reported it with astonishment. Fans flooded ITV's inbox with praise. Charities reached out. Sponsors applauded Dara's gesture, with one even offering to double his donation. Days later, Emily appeared on ITV's This Morning alongside her sister Rebecca, who now had a clear path to the treatment she so desperately needed. Ben Shepherd and Kat Deely interviewed her warmly. I thought I'd lost everything, Emily said. But Dara, he gave it all back. He gave us hope. Rebecca added, it's not just the money, it's the kindness. The compassion. He saw us as people, not contestants. That same afternoon, Dara issued a humble statement on social media. I've been given a platform as a chaser. Sometimes that means more than just knowing facts. Sometimes it means doing the right thing. I'd do it again. Inside the ITV production offices, an emergency meeting was called. Producers and legal teams huddled over coffee-stained printouts and policy guides. We've never dealt with something like this, one executive admitted. It's a PR dream. But it's also a precedent. In the weeks that followed, the chase quietly amended its policy. While chasers could not alter official winnings, they were permitted to donate personally in exceptional cases, with ITV matching 25% as part of a new charity initiative called Chase Kind. Inspired by Dara, fans began raising funds for other contestants who had narrowly missed out. A sense of community formed, transcending game show boundaries. A year had passed. Rebecca's treatment in Switzerland had gone well. She'd stabilized and was now breathing freely for the first time in years. Emily stood in the audience of the chase, not as a contestant this time, but as a guest of honor. She watched as Dara took his seat once more, the game unfolding before him. After the show, Dara approached her. You look happy, he said, adjusting his tie. I am, she replied. She's alive because of you. He shook his head. Because of you. I just followed your lead. They shook hands. It was the briefest of moments, but one that echoed forever. In interviews and press appearances that followed, people asked Dara if he'd ever consider doing it again. He smiled that calm, cryptic smile he was known for. "Maybe," he said, "but only if someone deserves it." And somewhere out there, future contestants knew one thing. On the chase, knowledge may be power, but kindness can rewrite the rules.